The history of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is one of the most influential civilizations in history. Its story is not of a single entity, but a long evolution of power, culture, and administration that spanned centuries and continents. Its history is traditionally divided into several key phases. From republic to empire, 27 BC, the empire did not appear overnight. Rome began as a republic but had been expanding for centuries, first across Italy and then across the Mediterranean during the Punic Wars. This expansion led to immense wealth, social upheaval, and a series of devastating civil wars. The final civil wars pitted Julius Caesar against Pompey, and after Caesar's assassination, his heir Octavian against Mark Antony and Cleopatra of Egypt. Octavian's decisive victory at the Battle of Actium, 31 BC, left him as the sole master of the Roman world. In 27 BC, the Senate granted him the titles Augustus, the revered one, and Princeps, first citizen, marking the traditional beginning of the Roman Empire and the start of the Principate period. Augustus carefully maintained the illusion of the restored republic while consolidating all real power, military, financial, and political, into his own hands. The early empire, the first dynasties, 27 BC AD 193. The first 2 centuries of the empire, known as the Pax Romana, Roman peace, were a period of relative stability, prosperity, and territorial expansion. The Julio-Claudian dynasty, 27 BC AD 68, Augustus was followed by his stepson Tiberius, the unstable Caligula, the scholarly Claudius, who began the conquest of Britain, and the infamous Nero. Nero's suicide in AD 68 ended the dynasty. The year of the 4 emperors, AD 69. A brief but bloody civil war following Nero's death proved that an emperor could be made outside of Rome by military force. The Flavian dynasty, 69-96. Vespasian emerged victorious, restoring stability and fiscal responsibility. His sons Titus, who witnessed the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, and Domitian followed. The Flavians built iconic structures like the Colosseum. The 5 Good Emperors and the Nerva-Antonine dynasty, 96-180. This period is considered the peak of the empire. It featured a succession of capable rulers adopted for their merit rather than birth. Nerva, 96-98, Trajan, 98-117. The empire reached its greatest territorial extent after his campaigns in Dacia and the Parthian Empire. Hadrian, 117-138, consolidated borders, for example, building Hadrian's Wall in Britain, and toured the provinces. Antoninus Pius, 138-161, a period of peaceful prosperity. Marcus Aurelius, 161-180, the philosopher-emperor, who spent much of his reign fighting Germanic tribes on the frontier. The reign of Marcus Aurelius's son, Commodus, 180-192, is often seen as the end of this golden age, leading to instability and his eventual assassination. The crisis of the 3rd century, 235-284, the assassination of Emperor Severus Alexander in 235 plunged the empire into a 50-year period of chaos known as the crisis of the 3rd century. This era was defined by civil war. Numerous rival generals were proclaimed emperor by their legions, leading to constant internal conflict. Foreign invasion, Germanic tribes, Goths, Alemanni, Franks, breached the frontiers along the Rhine and Danube, while the new Sasanian Persian Empire attacked in the east. Economic collapse, constant warfare debased the currency and shattered trade. Plague, the plague of Cyprian ravaged the population. The crisis was so severe that the empire temporarily broke into 3 separate states: the Gallic Empire in the west, the Palmyrene Empire in the east, and the Central Roman Empire. Emperors like Aurelian, 270-275, managed to reunite the empire by the century's end, but it was clear the old system was broken. The late empire, the Dominate, 284-395. The Emperor Diocletian, 284-305, ended the crisis by radically restructuring the Roman state in what is called the Dominate, from Dominus, Lord and Master. He rejected the subtle first citizen facade of the Principate for overt autocracy, the Tetrarchy, 293. To solve the problems of succession and frontier defense, Diocletian divided the empire into 4 parts, ruled by 2 senior emperors, Augusti, and 2 junior emperors, Caesares. Administrative reforms, He split provinces into smaller units, separated military and civilian commands, and attempted to control rampant inflation with price controls. The Great Persecution. In 303, he launched the empire's last, largest, and bloodiest official persecution of Christians. Although the Tetrarchy collapsed into civil war after his retirement, Diocletian's reforms saved the empire and created the blueprint for its late antique structure. Constantine and the rise of Christianity. Constantine the Great, 306-337, emerged victorious from the civil wars. His reign was transformative. Christianity. In 313, he and his co-emperor Licinius issued the Edict of Milan, legalizing Christianity. He actively favored the church and was baptized on his deathbed, setting the stage for Christianity to become the state religion. New capital. He founded Constantinople, modern Istanbul, on the site of Byzantium in 330, creating a new Christian capital for the eastern half of the empire that was more easily defensible and economically strategic. Final division and fall of the West, 395-476. After Constantine's death, the empire was frequently divided for administrative purposes. In 395, upon the death of Emperor Theodosius I, the empire was permanently divided between his two sons. Honorius ruled the Western Roman Empire, capital Milan, then Ravenna. Arcadius ruled the Eastern Roman Empire, capital Constantinople. The Western Empire, under immense pressure from Germanic migrations and invasions, Visigoths, Vandals, Huns, crumbled. The military and economy weakened and real power fell to Germanic generals who controlled puppet emperors. The traditional end of the Western Roman Empire is dated to AD 476, when the Germanic general Odoacer deposed the last emperor, Romulus Augustus, and sent the imperial regalia to Constantinople. The Eastern Roman, Byzantine Empire, 395-1453, the Eastern Roman Empire, wealthier and more urbanized, survived the fall of the West. It continued for another 1,000 years, preserving Roman law, Greek culture, and Christianity. Modern historians call this the Byzantine Empire. It gradually evolved into a medieval Greek-speaking state but always considered itself Roman. It finally fell to the Ottoman Turks with the fall of Constantinople in 1453.